Hi, this is Charlie giving you Friday's live trading. I hope you're very well. I'm just getting set up here. It's just gone 7:30 a.m. and I'm looking at this euro dollar, and on the 5 minute chart here, it looks like it's having a nice run down. So one would think, oh, okay, we would be looking to short this, but I'm just going to have a quick look because it may actually be setting up for a reversal. So just bear with me a second. Yeah, it's actually potentially setting up for a reversal. We've actually got, although obviously yesterday's trend was down, we've got positive momentum in the background as it currently stands. So I'm going to look to buy. I'm going to use slightly larger trade sizes for a change this time. Okay, okay. So I'm going to still put 4 units in, but as we can see there, 150,000 trade size as opposed to hundreds because time moves on and you've got to increase your position sizes on the accounts. So let's quickly get all the stops sorted out. So let's just bring up the accounts. We can do all that today because it's all would be useful if I could see the screen, wouldn't it? Let's move this across a little bit. Can I do it and still see? Yeah. So I'm going to put the stops down at the lows there. I've got a daily pivot above, so I'm going to be looking towards that daily pivot potentially. There may be other levels that come in, so I'm just going to get these stops put in, and then we'll do that. Someone's asked me recently, can you not put your stops in as you take the trades? No, that's why I end up having to put them in afterwards. But in the main, unless you're trying to trade against the trend or whatever completely as it's coming down, then you usually got plenty of time to get your stops in. So 0655, 0655, down the lows there. And so the stops are sometimes when you get a reversal, 06, does mean you can have a relatively tight stop. When our entries were at 62, and we're putting the stops in at 7 or 8 pips below 06. So let's just get these in. Now, I don't know at this stage whether we're going to be right here or not. So let's just move that off screen for a minute. So we don't know if that's going to be the case, whether we're going to be right or not. But when I see the momentum is fairly thick to the upside, I can't justify shorting it, even though on the 5 minute chart it looks like it's having a nice run down. If we actually look at the hourly chart here, there you go. It's the hourly chart. Oh, it looks a little bit different. It's still overall downwards trend, but struggling a little bit as it stands to go lower. So that's why we're seeing if we can get some upside out of this. Now it's just coming up to its upper band. So let's just leave leave this running, so to speak. Let's leave it about there. So remember the stops we got in at 60, 62, 61. There's the entries 60, 62, 61, 61, and the stops are down at 55. So a relatively tight stop. It's just a case of whether this can actually push up a little bit more yet. So that's what I'm looking to see, if that's going to be the case. Let's have a look here. Yeah, I mean, actually looking at it, the potential is actually that always that if we come down lower, we could break this low. Actually, looking at the hourly chart again, this is the thing. I've just logged in and just spotted this and gone straight in. We could come lower within this move and maybe come down to challenge this low. That's obviously the risk. But like I said, with that positive momentum in play in the background, I've had to take this reversal trade off the lower band here today. Now, could it come lower still with that positive momentum in the background? Yeah, it could. That's what I'm saying. But for now, that's where we are, and we'll see if this can push up a bit. It's got the daily pivot, like I said, above it, and we'll see if it can get up there. But it's not going to go straight. It's going to have lots of resistance to get through as it goes there. But from a risk reward perspective, it was a nice tight stop, so that was an attractive point there. So now it's just a case of, well, can it actually do this? As far as the position sizes are concerned, I've been increasing the position sizes by going to 5 units, hadn't I, in recent weeks, where I could, and so I thought, oh, it's about time I increased it to 150 lots. So four lots of 150 lots is the equivalent of 6 using the old method of one lot trades. Anyway, I'll press pause for a second because my porridge is getting cold. Okay, so as we're coming up to this 5 minute 21, I will take one of these off. If I can, let's just hit that 21. If I can get the ticket, there we go. So I'm going to take one of these units off just as we're hitting that 5 minute 21, as it is a resistance zone. There we go. So as you can see, it's just reacting to it there. So I've just taken one of the units off. So that was 9 pips. But remember, my my initial risk was only 7 pips. The risk to reward is still good. I could take the whole trade off there if I really wanted to, because the risk to reward is good. If I approach every trade with approach of whatever my risk is initially, I want to be looking to make at least that in my reward, then I know that I'm going to be okay. So I've just taken one unit off there to effectively pay a little bit towards any losses if I was to be wrong and this rolls all the way over. So I suspect this is probably going to take some time. So I'm just checking my charts off screen to see how this might pan out. But yeah, so for now, taking one unit off, and then we'll see if we can get to that ultimate target. The ultimate target is over at 106.96 now, so it's way up here. So I suspect that's probably going to take some time. I suspect we'll probably do some backing and filling if we are going to get there. I don't suppose it's going to go straight up, because this is not we've got lots of layers to try and get through. Sometimes they just do it, but more likely, usually, they'll react to these levels, come down a bit, and then maybe go up again and give it another try a bit later. So, but if we're lucky, it goes straight up. So we'll see. I'll press pause. Just back, and you can see why I took that one unit off. Maybe I should have taken 2 units off there, but at least that one unit pays towards, so to speak, losses if I'm wrong here, and it is going to come down to stop me out. So if that's the case, there could just be a retest down here that often happens as well. But if that was the case, then at least it I wouldn't say it minimizes the loss, but it reduces the loss a little bit. So hence why I did that. Now, one thing I must mention is I've been asked to, let me just press pause for a second. Okay, so I've been asked to, it looks like that euro is going to come down and stop me, so we'll just wait for that to happen, so we can watch it happen. So what have I got wrong there? Well, the overall trend being down, I guess when we go out to, I just went out to the daily charts and had a quick look, but the intraday at that point with the positive momentum looked okay. So obviously it's going to keep the loss down by having banked that taking that profit off, and it means I'm only in with 3 units now. And then we'll carry on looking for other opportunities this morning. It's a shame that we've got that positive momentum, otherwise I would have been able to short, but with the positive momentum in the background, I've not been allowed to, so to speak. So we'll see. But now just I started talking there. Right, okay, so I've been asked to speak next Friday in London with for Simon Campbell, who runs the London Investment Week emails. So if anyone's interested, he sent me this email, but we haven't got any time to send any more emails out. So I'm just putting it onto this video update. It looks like I'm about to get stopped out. I think yeah, there it goes. It's just been stopped. There we go. Okay, it's kept the loss small, as you can see. Well, anyway, the loss would have been small anyway because of the stops. Anyway, we'll come back to that. So speaking next Friday. Oh. Press pause, my breakfast is going off. So I had my eggs going. Right, so it's next Friday. It's at the City of London Club on Old Broad Street. So if you're interested, it's an all-day affair. There's, I think, 6 speakers. I'm one of them. Simon put this email together for me. And I think there you go. It costs £48 plus VAT. If you're interested, 6 speakers, coffees, and lunch. It's not a bad deal. If you've got next Friday off, then it says click here for details. What I'll actually do is I'll put the link to this onto our actual email today. So I'll put the links, and you can the sign up link onto our email today. So if you're about next Friday and you want to come and listen to 6 different speakers. Talking about various different things. I think I'm doing something on intraday trends, and there'll be the other 5 speakers will be talking about all of their various parts of technical analysis as well. So if you're interested, you can get the details there. There you go. Right, now let's have a look at this euro. because that has obviously come down. And now it's a case of, oh, it's a pain because it's got positive momentum on the hourly charts, but it is coming down. Now, so it creates a somewhat of a dilemma. The overall daily charts are obviously bearish, and so doesn't necessarily mean that we can't have obviously a little bounce on the intraday basis, of course. So I'll just have to have a look through this, watch this price action, and decide what to do from there. It's a shame because actually, yeah, if this comes back into the bands, if this comes back into my bands again and then test the lower bands here, I'm going to give this another go, because we've got a nice divergence down here between this low here and this low here, and it's pre 8 o'clock as well. So if that happens and we set up in the next 10 minutes or whatever, then it looks like there might be a play on for the new 8 a.m. pivot. So it still looks like at the moment it's going to be another little long trade. So we'll give that one a go. But as it currently stands now, overall the trend is down, but you make money on both sides of the market. And where I've got positive momentum in the background, then on the hourly charts, then I know that we have that potential for bounces. If we had negative momentum on the hourly charts, then I wouldn't even bother trying doing those, because obviously the overall trend is down. So we've got a divergence, quite a sharp one on the RSI between this low here and this low here. So if I won't just take it, I'll only do it if we come back into the bands and then test the lower bands, just like we did over here. Then I'll take another trade there. So I'll press pause for now. Okay, so as it stands, it looks like that would have been the wonderful area to have sold, because the euro is just coming down. It's a pain when it does this, and sometimes it does, that you get a move down even when we've got positive momentum in the background. Cable's held up, actually. It's almost exactly the same type of pattern on both euro and cable, and yet cable's held up really well. So, but yes, at that point, that would have been, obviously, we can all look back in hindsight and say, oh, why didn't you sell there? Well, I didn't have momentum there to sell. Overall trend obviously being down. But so anyway, so at the moment we're literally just coming down to yesterday's lows. Let's have a look at that on the hourly chart. There we go. So we're just breaching yesterday's lows. Now, quite often when that sort of thing happens, you will get buyers coming in anyway, because you're going to have orders down there. So that could happen. But as it currently stands, it's beginning to not look like I'm going to be wanting to take that long, like I talked about when we were up here, and it was still sort of just generally playing around, but easier. We've still got positive momentum in the background, but obviously it is waning a bit. So, but it is still positive, but it's waning. So we'll keep watching, and we'll see. So we've got a whole day ahead of us yet, so there's no rush. It would have been nice to have got that early trade in, and if that had run up to that pivot. But that's currently looking a little bit less likely. But I've been around for long enough to know that when you've got a whole day ahead of you, anything can happen. So, but for now, this is obviously fairly weak. But we're sitting on yesterday's lows. Before we know it, we'll see if we come back into those bands. The thing is, I don't mind giving a couple of these attempts, because I can keep the risk fairly low by taking these sort of reversal type trades if I've still got positive momentum in the background, because the pips, the amount at risk is fairly low. I'm not trying to buy it as it's coming down, because you don't know, you've got nowhere to put your stop. But once it comes into my bands, then I know I can put my stop below the prior low, and then just see if it's going to bounce. A bit like over here, had a nice little bounce, but then gave up the ghost. So we've still got that 8 a.m. pivot. The 8 a.m. pivot is up at 57. So it's only over here, not far away. So we'll see if we can get there. So I'll press pause for now. Okay, so just back. So this whole divergence is all pretty much null and void now, because obviously we've been coming down even further. So we do actually now have a downside target coming into play, down at 106.04. 106.04. So I am actually now switching to the short side. I can now do that. We've now got what I call a double extreme in play as well. So I am going to be switching to the downside. But you have to always be careful, because just when a market's had a big flush like this, then you always the potential is there that it puts in a bit of a bounce. So any bounce we get, I'm going to be looking to get on the short side. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll put 1 unit in, and then we'll add if it comes up, because I don't want to miss out if this is just going to flush all the way down. So put 1 unit in now. So I'm just chasing the market now, really, and probably catch the bottom. But I'll put that 1 unit in, and I'll add if it comes up. So now it's a completely different strategy. So this strategy now, I'll probably put 3 units in total, because I'm going to be having to allow much wider scope for stops. And so I've literally put that in just in case we just keep on flushing. But if we get the bounce, then I can then add to it. So I'll press pause now. Okay, what I'm going to do is it actually looks like the downside push is finished for now. So I've just gone in at 18.9. So I'm actually going to hedge that, if I can get the chance to just hedge it here. So I'll just hedge it. So I'm now net square. So what I'm doing there, if I bring up the account, is by hedging it. Obviously it's already bounced a bit anyway. I'm just hedging the rest of it until we come up, and then I want to release the hedge. Then I'm net square, net flat. But as you can see, that these two positions are moving around, but I'm actually net flat, because I'm both long and short for the same amount. So what I'm doing is, as it comes up, if we're going to bounce up a little bit, then I'll release this whatever I make on the upside here, and then look to put those shorts in. So at least make a little bit on the upside if it's going to come up a little bit here. So that's what I'm up to there. So I'll press pause. Okay, as it's currently standing, this is still sitting here weak, so I've just released that hedge, so minus 32. So far, I've given that a go. Now I'll probably start coming back up again. So sometimes you have to look at it and say, "Oh, not my morning so far this morning," and it's coming back up again now. So sometimes you think, okay, I'll put a hedge in, and it could work out nicely. And actually, as it turns out, it's coming back up again. So my fault. I thought I'd get a little bit cute there as it was starting to roll. I thought it was, here we go, we're coming back down again, and now it's coming up again. So I'm going to have to leave that hedge now. So not good trading there. I should have held on to that hedge. That is bad trading. But these are the realities of trading sometimes. Sometimes your decision making is not always brilliant. So we all make mistakes, and certainly this was not a mistake earlier on, not shorting up here, because like I said, we didn't have the negative momentum. We've still got positive momentum in the background even now. And actually, sorry, talking about making mistakes, I chased that there, hoping that this was going to just extend, and whereas I should have just sat on the sidelines, just probably waiting. So that's a mistake as well. So the trade earlier on was not a mistake. That was fine. But down here, I've chased it for the sake of getting you the activity here. So there you go. You see me making mistakes here this morning, and now I'm sat in this trade. Going to have to wait for whatever bounces we do before I can then hopefully get on the short side, and hopefully that short side is the right play to be on, and that we're not going to do a big reversal. So if we do, it's going to be a losing day. So I'll press pause now. I've not even put a stop in yet on this, because I've not decided where I'm going to put my. I know roughly it's going to be up here somewhere, but I want to get the other entries in first. So I'll press pause just whilst we're waiting on that. So actually it's just yeah, that's okay. Okay, so I'll put that second unit in as we've coming up here. So I'm going to put a second unit in, and then I'll hold back for the third unit. So I'll put 3 units in, and we'll see how we go here. So we've put that rally in, a bit of a rally so far, and now it's a case of see, we've got the potential to obviously still come higher. And looking at this, this could be a major reversal. You never know. Like I said, with the positive momentum in the background, so I may have just chased the market and got it completely wrong. Let's go back and have a look at that hourly chart. We've broken those lows, and what's the potential? It's 20 past 8. Is the potential there to finish on a hammer? And we do that, and I'll be out of this trade. So I've put a second unit in, and I'll put a third unit in. If we come up a little bit more, then I'll put my stop in. But the potential is I've got this wrong. So yeah, it's certainly mistakes there, maybe early in the morning, and certainly made a mistake there of chasing the market at that point. We were caught right at the low, as I said I might do. But I wanted to be in and commit myself to the trade. But at the moment, it's possible that was still that move up to that 8 a.m. pivot may still be on, which is way up there at 57. So obviously I'm not going to put my stop right up there. The stop's going to be probably around about 50. Now, the one thing that we've got going for us is the overall trend, and also we have what I call a double extreme down here. So usually when you get a double extreme, which is what we've had down from this low back to this low, price will want to come back down and revisit it. So we shall see. But at the moment, with us only having 7 minutes or so to go, we're putting on the 30-minute chart, putting in some nice lower wicks on the candle. So we'll have to see. But I'll press pause for now, and we'll see where we get to. Okay, so just back. So we haven't got that third unit in, but as we can see, we're coming off. So I'm going to actually now aggressively move my stops down as it's coming down here, and if it comes back up, so be it. And we'll just try and keep it minimal. So 106.35. We'll try and keep any stop minimal at this stage, just because it's was looking a little bit less certain, so to speak. Now we've come down to this prior low here, so it's satisfied what it needs to do as far as the double extreme is concerned. So in theory, I should be looking to take some profit off normally, but again, because I've just left that stop there now at 35, I think 35, yeah, we'll see if we can get down and push down towards that 04 level is what I'm looking for ultimately. So it's actually satisfied. When you get these double extremes or these extremes, I know I'm not going into detail of what it is, but it only needs to come down and hit the level, the closing price of where that extreme was, which it's just done. But considering the trend and everything else, and we've got what I'm looking for at that 04, it's a daily S1 pivot, and we're just going to see if it can get its way down there. But the stop's there now, so it's not going to be massive. It'll probably lose about £300, and then at least it keeps us in the game then for another trade. So if this doesn't roll over now and it comes back up again, then something else is going on, at least for the time being. So so that's how we're sort of playing with this. Of course I could just exit and take the profit off of that bit, but no, we'll just see if we can push down. So I'll press pause for now. Okay, just back, and it looks like I'm about to get stops, as you can see here. So it had that dip down, and now it's come back up. It's a really tough call here today as to what it actually is going to do, because yeah, obviously it can have that a bit of a run up, but the trend overall is down. But we've got positive momentum on the hourly chart still, and so I think what will probably happen is if I get stopped out here, then just I came back on the mic and it's come back down again. But if I get stopped out here, then what we'll do is probably have to wait until lunchtime. We've got some news coming out later, and trade that, because sometimes it's good as a trader, if you have a couple of losers, to just sort of take stock and take a step back from it, because you can get so caught up in the moment and in the activity that before you know it, you're in another trade, and a bit like what I did here, really, in that I decided to chase the market. Shouldn't have done that, so a big mistake there today. The momentum was coming down, and in a different market that would have been fine, but we didn't have the momentum coming down on the hourly charts, and that was my mistake. I was chasing it thinking, oh, this is probably just going to all go because of the trend, so just affects your overall profitability by getting your entries wrong. So it's all about the timing. So as it currently stands, we're sitting around these lows. I'm watching cable as well, and that's been sitting around its yesterday's lows. So I suspect we are basing to maybe go higher, but trend is down, so we're just gonna hold on to this, and if it does come down, then obviously it would still be a nice run in the end. But I think this is going to be a lesson in how not to do it. This morning, there was definitely no way I would have taken a trade up here. We just didn't have that momentum, but certainly this down here could have been much better executed. You should have waited and then shorted up here. That would have made more sense. So a good lesson in how not to do it today. See, we're all fallible and we're all just human. We all make mistakes. Right, I shall press pause. Okay, just back, and it's coming down to, it's just on the pivot, so I want to take some profits off there. So I was trying to get ready. And so anyway, so it's just on top of that daily S1 pivot, so I've just taken the profit there. But Yeah, it's typical, isn't it? It's always the way. I'm always trying to get ready or do something, and the market wants to come down while I was upstairs getting ready. So I have a choice now whether I want to hold on to this for any more, or call it a day here. I think for now, considering how badly I've traded this morning, it'll be my penalty to come out. But let's just double check. I'm just going to double check the higher time frames, the daily charts, and mind you, looking at the daily charts, we could have a run. What I'll do, and I'm bound to get this wrong because it's just the way it seems to be today. I'll move that. Mind you, if I move the stop even to break even on this part, we'll. If I let's have a look here, 70. I can afford to move the stop up to a little bit. See, as we've come down to that pivot now. Oh, not quite actually, not quite hit it. Actually, it says on these signal charts not quite hit, but it may have done. If I move my stop down, and to avoid going back into negative territory, the stop's still going to only be around in the early 20s, which is still very, very achievable. Obviously, on any minor little retracement, then it could do that. And while I'm talking here, it's coming up anyway. So that's easily achievable. But at the same time, I'm just thinking, okay, well, why don't I just give this a go and see if we get a break down below 106? So whatever happens, I can't lose now if I estimate where that stop's going to have to be. So at 14 now, and still 115 up, but these are 150 sizes, so it won't take too much. So it'll only be about 10 pips or so from where we currently are, so about 23. So if I've estimated it right, so all I want to do is not give it all back now, and so whatever happens, I'm fairly fat. So I think 24 would probably still be okay actually, if I've estimated that about right. So I got lucky a little bit because I've been obviously in with the trend here, and it's ended up coming in my favour. But that was still a poor execution, poor entry there, just chasing the market after it had already had a good run down. If I'd have gone in and we had all the negative momentum and I'd gone in here and chased it, which is what I often do, if we've got all the momentum lined up, then I go in earlier up here. That's fine. But when you've already had, 5 really nice bars down to the downside, you're always at risk that it goes and puts that retracement in. And if it had been a bigger retracement, I'd have got stopped. So a good lesson there this morning. Now, so the stop's at 24, and we're going to see now if the euro goes for a bit of a punch and see if it wants to break that 106. Okay, now what I could do, actually, thinking about this, because I've got this 1 unit in here, what I could do is take half off. So if I actually, and the way I can do it on my broker is to do 75,000 and actually bank half here by actually buying 75,000. So that way I'm in with 150,000 here, and if I so as we come down to that level, I'll buy 75,000. And so let's see if we can get down there now. And effectively that's like taking another half off. Or do I just leave the whole thing? I'll tell you what, let's not even bother doing that. Let's just leave the whole thing. Am I indecisive today or what? So we're literally just on that pivot still. Still sitting around that daily S1 pivot. So what I'm looking to see now is whether we can push on through or not. Stops at 24. And I'll just see if it can penetrate 106. So I'm going to press pause, go back upstairs, and no doubt it will come down whilst I'm probably still getting ready. So I'll have to dash down and do whatever. Now, could I just put an order in to close me out at 106? Well, I could do, but what I'm actually wondering is whether this really tries to roll over and we have a good run down. Look at the daily charts. It's possible that we run well into the 105s maybe. So that's what maybe I'm getting greedy there, but whatever. I can't lose on this trade anyway, so we'll just see what happens. Right, I'll press pause for now. Okay, just back, and as you can see, I did get stopped out on that remainder. Where was it here? 20. Sorry, let me bring it across. You can't see it, can you? Must have been, this one at 23.5. Yeah, there it was. So actually it gave me a net gain of £21 so far today. So anyway, so let's get rid of that for the minute. So we can see that the euro's turned. It's got this double extreme and now a divergence in place down there anyway. So I was just seeing if it was just going to carry on. It's still a fairly, the trend's still not good, but it still hasn't gone to negative on the momentum on the hourly charts. But nevertheless, I'm going to have a quick look here. We've got news out on the pound in 9 minutes time. So I'm just going to have a quick look at the pound. Let's bring it up. But other than that, I'm probably going to be waiting for the news which is out at 1 o'clock. So we're going to have a quick look at this pound now. The pound's sort of held a bit firmer than that of the euro, as you can see here. But again, it's got some resistance overhead, but it's got positive momentum. Is there potential for a little bit of upside? Yes, there is. So I'm just going to be watching this, wait for the news, and then we'll have a look at it, and then I'm off down the gym, so I'll press pause. Okay, so got the news about to come out on cable. I'm going to bring up a deal ticket, but I'm not anticipating doing anything just yet. So we'll have a look at this and just see what cable's going to do. It hasn't got an 8 AM pivot above it or anything like that to look at, so I'm not entirely convinced by what it may or may not want to do. It doesn't really matter what the news is when the news comes out. It's just how the market reacts to it, really. So just having a little look-see, really. But I don't think there's going to be much I can do with cable. I very much doubt. So just having a little watch here, and then if there's not much I can do, then I'll head off out, or probably look to trade dollar CAD later. So I could make a wrap of this video now, but as there's not really been anything done here, profit or loss today, then I'll look to trade dollar CAD. It's come down a little bit here. Maybe it's going to roll, but again, it hasn't got any negative momentum on that hourly chart. Let me just have a quick look at it. So just had a look at it, and what it actually should do, if you want to come down, it's just a shame I haven't got the momentum here on the hourly charts today on the negative side. It's getting close, but it's not there yet. So I'd have to just base it on the higher time frames, the daily and the 4 hourly charts. In theory, it should want to come down and retest those prior lows now. If we go out to the daily charts, we're getting close to this low here. So that's down at 36 area, roughly speaking. So it should want to get down there, but it's a little bit chopping around here at the moment, and so I think that there's not anything specific for me to get my teeth into and say, oh right, okay, we've got a specific setup here. So I can look at the chart overall and say, yeah, it should. That's probably where it's going to be trying to work its way to. But as we're sitting up here, we're not breaking down. So just watch it for a few minutes. If we break down, then I might get on. But actually, looking at it, the momentum's all over the place. No, we'll leave it alone. I think I'll be pushing it too much. The markets are just a bit too messy today. I haven't got them lined up. I've gotten away with poor trading this morning. A little bit of poor trading in what I did with that euro. So I think I'll just hold fire for now and head to the gym. Maybe it all rolls over while I'm gone, but it doesn't really matter. We'll trade the dollar CAD news later. Do you know, I was just sending a text message. Sorry, I hadn't gone, and I've just seen that the cable is going. So, like I said, about 36 is that level, and it's coming down quite nicely here. So I am going to chase this a little bit. Just having a look at this off screen with all the momentum. I'm just going to have a look here. If I can get my charts to load. Yeah, so I'll be looking to start getting in here. Let's start entering. Now, this is a nice one because I can put a stop literally at the upper end of this bar. I'll get a couple of entries in now. I can put the stop just up at the top end of this bar, and if it comes back up to the top of that, then obviously we're out. At the moment, we've got the momentum is all coming down, so we'll see if this can actually push on through. So I've got a couple of units in. I'll get a third unit in a minute. I've only got 100,000s here actually, so let's get a third unit in, and then we'll see. So I'll press pause. So it looks like I'm not going to be going down the gym for a minute, and we'll see if this can push through. So what I'm looking for is to see if this can overall get down towards those lows. I'll just have another look at that. Yeah, they're down at. So let's bring the ticket up again. The lows are down at 30, about 35. Let's call it 35, 36. I mean, they're actually 34. It says on the chart, so you always want to give it a few pips above that. So we're going to see if this cable is going to try and work its way down towards those levels. Keeping the stop, just I'm going to put the stop in just up here at the top of this bar, and we'll see if this can overall make a run for it. So I'll just press pause for now. Okay, right. So what I've done is, let's get rid of that. Let's put the bring the account up. So here's the 3 units. What I've got in at. Oh, you can't quite see it there. Where are we? 51, 55, 57 as I chased it down. And so my stops are in at 79. That's above that candle. And I've put orders in at 36 on 2 of them, and 26 to see if it just breaks those lows on that daily chart and then just has a bit of a flurry through. So we'll see about that, see how this is all going to go. There's no need for me to sit here and give commentary through this. I've got my limit orders in, so we'll just see what happens when I get back. So for now I shall leave this to it, and I don't think there's anything more to do. I've only put the 3 units in, but we'll just see how this is going to go. So I'll press pause for now. Right, just laughing because I've just got my trainers on, literally to head down the gym, and it's just done it in a blink of an eye. Look, it's just blinked down, just hit my limit orders. So let's bring them up, and we're done. There we go. So we had the. Oh, look at that! I've got really lucky. Did I put my orders in correctly? Look, so they've all come out at 26. I'm sure I put them in at 36. I'll have to rewind the video once I've recorded it. But unless, because this really came down so fast that it's just filled me at a lower price. But I thought I'd put 2 in at 36 and 1 in at 26. I'll have to have a look at that now. Anyway, as a result of that, we've banked £600 or £600. Yeah, so $900 this morning. In the end, and that was with some pretty poor trading earlier on, with me chasing that euro and then putting a hedge in and all of that stuff. So yeah, lessons to be learned from this morning's trading, children, that we don't always get it all right, and sometimes your head's just not quite right for whatever reason. Maybe you're tired, maybe you've got other things on. Anyway, in the end, when I've got a target, you see, when you've got a target and price is getting closer towards a target, like cable searching out those prior daily lows, then and obviously the trend being down, then we're just waiting for that break of that congestion zone. At that point, I was about to go, and then all of a sudden it broke down, didn't it? And so then all the momentum then kicks in, and then I can go. So, and then when I've got a defined target, it makes your trading so much easier. When you haven't got a defined target, you don't know what your risk to reward is going to be and all of that. So in the end, not too bad. So I shall press pause. Well, I won't carry on this recording. We're 38 minutes in, so I'll trade dollar CAD at lunchtime myself and get this video out to you. Have a fabulous weekend, and we'll be back in touch next week. Obviously next week I won't be doing Friday's video because I'll be down in London presenting, but maybe I can record it do it on Thursday. Anyway, have a good one.